Let's start. Good morning. I'm Malcolm Nance. This is Black Man Spy. U.S.-Iran WARCAST update for day 42, I believe it is. Today is day 42 of the U.S.-Iran war and day number 2 of the U.S.-Iran war ceasefire. So with us today is Wajeeh the Gay Lion reporting in from Minneapolis. Jacob Kaarsbo, our Danish intelligence officer, Middle East officer extraordinaire, is not with us this morning. He, as usual, he is a big fish in a small pond. So he's out giving a speech. He's like a huge person in the Danish national security and security consulting industry. So he is always in demand when you consider the size of Denmark. If I'm not mistaken, what is the population of Denmark? I believe is 5 million. And I like to joke that there are 8 African Americans for every Dane on this planet. There are 42 million Black African Americans and only 5 million Danes. And we could come in there and watch over that country anytime. I think we should get 6 million of us to go over on tourist visa and declare it like brotherland. So it's a possibility. You never know. They're looking out for it. But we wouldn't, because the cost of living there is astronomical. It's really expensive. Good morning, Wajeeh. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, man. It's been a stressful couple weeks and a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster.
Well, I want to thank everybody who has been recommending on Substack, especially because I made a bunch of typos in one sentence. In one of my articles, everybody's like, get some sleep. And I did. I got some sleep last night. I put I do what I do when I'm in the field or when I'm traveling on an airplane. Earplugs, eye mask, full sensory deprivation. When I went to where was it? When I went to Greenland, because it's also cold, I have one of these inflatable neck braces that actually has
Hmm.
a hood on it and an eye mask section that comes down that you can tie off. It like turns your whole head into a hoodie, and a neck brace so that you can sleep properly, out on the Arctic ice glaciers, right? So and put those earplugs in and you will sleep like a baby, because you don't have to wake up at 1 in the morning thinking, oh my God, let me check and see if the ceasefire has broken. No, you sleep all the way through. I slept from 9 a.m. till 6 in the morning this morning. And
Nah.
which is amazing because I usually get up at exactly 3:30 every morning. I don't have to notify myself. I could go to bed at 11 at night. I'm getting up at 3:30 in the morning. So that's just one of those things. So good. Now Jacob's not here with us, but before we start, you can see we have the headgear. Wajeeh is in his Nehru hat. You know what? And I know there is something that I wanted to research, which was, how did Nehru, former prime minister of India, who was 74 years old, uh,
Yep.
Jawaharlal is his first name, Jawaharlal Nehru. How did he die? Oh, it was just a heart attack at age 74.
See,
So he did not die of assassination as I thought, which is good track record, because Indian prime ministers back in the 60s, they didn't do very well. So I'm just wearing a Navy hat. Somebody says, Wajeeh, I don't think you even went to bed. These aren't his pajamas he's wearing. This is Arab world. He, not me, but what he's wearing is Arab world around the house clothes. And you can wear your jalaba anywhere. It's not the formal white one, right? This is my
that's
kick
right.
around. You go outside in your flip flops. You can go get coffee. You can go shopping down at the Carrefour. You can do anything you want in that. And most of the time, you're sitting in the house with your feet crossed, right, with a cup of tea and a bowl of dates, and you're watching Al Jazeera nonstop. So, all right, what's your coffee cup? Show us. Are you on that small Italian one again? Where's this
It's a
one from?
different one, but yeah, same thing.
I have a New York City paper coffee mug, the traditional Greek paper mug, that for years, every cup of coffee in New York City that was sold on the street or stands was this cup. This cup.
Well, you,
And
you you use it once and you throw it away.
well, the original ones. This was made. I bought at a New York City shop. They now make it in ceramic. So you have the New York City paper coffee cup, which was made insanely famous by movies. Every movie out there. If you bought a cup of coffee on a street corner in New York City before Starbucks came around, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it was in a paper cup with this. We are happy to serve you. And, I don't even know who the Greek god is on the side of this cup. So, but I found this in a New York City gift shop. And I was like, oh my God, it's the paper cup. And they were like, nope, ceramic, microwave capable. And I was doing a podcast with Michael Cohen, who's from New York City. And he goes, oh, I see you. Where'd you get those paper cups? And I go, gift shop. I go, ceramic. And he was like, oh my God, I got to get one. So now New Yorkers all buy the ceramic version of the cup
Dude, it
so that they
looks
can.
like paper. If you
It
get it
looks like paper.
ceramic,
That's the whole point. It's supposed to look like paper. It's supposed to look like what it is on the street corner. I'll bet you if I went on Amazon, we could buy the paper cups. So we can all look like hobos or New York City detectives hanging around a hot dog stand in Law and Order Special Victims Unit or something, right? And swear to God, there was not a cup in movies that didn't have that. So we got the cups out of the way. We got the hats out of the way. I'm wearing my U.S. Navy 1775 hat. Interesting story around this hat. Where do I pick up what I consider the perfect U.S. Navy hat? I pick it up in France, in Normandy, in the village of Saint-Mary-Église, the home of the airborne, right? And in a small Army Navy store that has all this stuff. And they had this hat, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the perfect Navy hat. So I had to go to France, Normandy, Saint-Mary-Église, the home of the paratroopers, where the giant paratrooper museum is, and look in this tiny military souvenir shop next door to the cafe that's in the courtyard of San Mariglis. That's where I got this hat. I'm proud of it. Love that. I'm going to have to write that history in the hat. Somebody who finds it on the street needs to know that this isn't a bum's hat. So, but was it still made in China? Actually, to tell you the truth, we will have to check. No, Fostex made in Germany. Go figure. So, all right, enough levity. Secure from levity. Now it is time to talk serious business. Attention to the briefing. This is this morning's intelligence briefing for day 42 of the U.S.-Iran war, plus day 2 of the ceasefire. There is a lot of activity happening that I'm sure many of you have not been seeing. There was a lead up in the immediate period of the post ceasefire. There were many attacks. And then in the last 24 hours, those have abated, but there was a lot going on. First off, casualty counter at the end of the war remains the same. Did you bring that up? Do you have that?
I have not
I can
found the
bring it up.
exact.
Hold on. I just had Al Jazeera on a moment ago, and
It's not up to date.
it's not up to date. So the last count we had in Iran was 2,076 casualties, for over 6,000 wounded. The only major change to the board has been Lebanon.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have a little talk about Lebanon at the end of the diplomatic component because this is now fouling up everything. Lebanon has 1,497 people killed since Israel started its operation to seize southern Lebanon. They have displaced, they have forced 1 million people to leave their homes and cross north to the Litani River in, hold on, I will show you this in a moment. The Litani River in southern Lebanon. And so I will bring you there. It is looking like Israel is going to annex
It
20% of Lebanon.
They already have taken over 30 kilometers, I think.
Right. Well, this is not good. Millions of people have left their home. Another thing is that they are now carrying out most of these airstrikes that we're seeing um, are taking place in Beirut. The southern side of Beirut city is occupied by the Shia Muslims of Lebanon. And that was a stronghold, a headquarters of Hezbollah. They are just Gazifying southern Beirut right now. That's the only way to put it. I'm going to show you some video. I don't know what Benjamin Netanyahu has in mind, but he appears to be on a holy war against the Shia of Lebanon. And that's going to cause problems in itself. So there it has been since we last spoke yesterday morning, 203 civilians killed in airstrikes in Beirut, right? That is not good at all. Let me go to Tyre, the city of Tyre in southern Lebanon. This is a major city. It is not a small town. Uh, it is the home of the Phoenicians, right? A lot of Lebanese Christians say we're not Muslims, we're Phoenicians, and it's true. This was
Yeah.
part of Phoenicia back in the days of antiquity. I will go to the big board here, and where that red dot is the city of Tyre. I will give everybody a clearer shot here. If you see Kifar Rosh Hanikra over here in the lower left corners, Rosh Hanikra is the last point. Whoop, on the left side here, I'm doing it wrong. Over here, that is the last point on the Israeli-Lebanese border. This white line is the line of confrontation. It's their border right here going all the way across up into the Golan Heights to the east. This area from that red dot all the way down to the border and everything in between here, all these villages of which 1 million people have had to evacuate. And that's not all of it. It goes all the way over to the Syrian border. Let me move this cursor over there. Goes all the way to the Syrian border. Apparently, Israel has decided they are going to annex 20% of the nation of Lebanon, which is now causing the entirety of the ceasefire operation. I'll show you how big Lebanon is.
You know what that's doing? That's making every Arab country, that's making every Muslim that had a conspiracy theory about how Israel is wanting to annex the rest of the neighboring nations and take over. That is exactly what that's doing.
Yep.
It's increasing the anti-Semitism in the global stage. It is not making Jews safe. It is doing the exact opposite. I don't know what he's thinking, but these actions are um, mobilizing the rest of the Shia community and even other sects, including the Sunnis. Many of them are mobilizing against that because they're seeing it as an invasion of their Muslim nations.
Yep.
It's not looking good, and it's literally getting all of them against the U.S. and Israel.
So if this is Lebanon in its entirety, following the cursor, this is the Syrian border. This is the Syrian border. Syria borders it on the north and the east. Israel along the south and southeast, including along the Golan Heights. Last largest town in Israel is here, Kiryat Shemona. Been there, done that. That is the home of chickens and giant chicken farms up there. And this is Lebanon. Right across here, this dot, Tyre, here, going all the way across, as you can see, is about 20% of Lebanon. Israel is intending to annex, uh, as they call it, a safety zone, and they have hinted, not broadly, they've pretty much said they're going to destroy every village, every house, every habitation in there. They're going to turn that into a security zone where if you're in there, they're going to kill you. So,
Lebanon is
go ahead.
sorry. Lebanon is not that big. Without traffic, you can drive from the north to the south an hour and a half, 2 hours max.
No, no, no. It's slower than that. I've gone from Beirut to Tyre. It's a little longer. But the point is, it still is tiny, smaller than Minnesota, right? Um, much smaller. But the capital, Beirut, is where everybody lives. Up here, everyone who's not in Beirut is in a village. Beirut, Sidon, Tyre, and Tripoli up in the north. Those are the only real sizable villages. Beirut is, I think Beirut's 2 million people. So all of these shots, these attacks there are killing people, right? You can't miss. And I'm going to show you some video of the types of attacks the Israelis have done. But let's not diverge on that. We're going to get on the Lebanon later. But it is now the crux of the entire ceasefire in the Middle East. As a matter of fact, Iran is pretty much arguing that the ceasefire is being broken and that they are going to walk away. So first, oil. Oil had a massive dip after the announcement of the ceasefire yesterday or the day before. Oil dropped down to as low as $87, but within hours, down from its high of $115. West Texas Intermediary dropped down to $87. That's almost a $20 drop in a matter of hours. By the next morning, when Donald Trump started tweeting, it jumped back up to $99.53, up $5, and climbing this morning. It will go back over $100 because the ceasefire doesn't look like it's going to hold, and Donald Trump is saying crazy things. Brent North Sea crude was at 98.84, up $4.33 since the close. It's just incredible. Everything that we said
WTI is
bad that would
already at
happen is happening.
99.9.
Say again?
WTI is already at 99.9.
99.9. It's jumped 40 cents in the last how many minutes? 18 minutes since the market opened. This is stupid. Okay, moving on. Oil is there. Significant activities. Today, it's all significant activities and diplomacy. There are no U.S. strikes are off. As Crazy Pete Hegseth, Whiskey Pete Hegseth says, we are now preparing our fighters to go forth and rest. Are you ready for this? He actually said this, for our next conquest.
What
I
is
shit you
this?
not. He actually said that.
What
Pete
is this?
Hegseth.
What is this?
It's fucking King Leonidas in 300. Does he not know how that movie ended? They got wiped out. He's talking this. We're gonna preparing for our next conquest. Our warriors are preparing for our next conquest. This moron thinks he's in, I don't know, Game of Thrones or, the movie 300. Absolutely ridiculous. So
No respect
significant
to the
activity.
human life of the U.S. soldier, nevertheless, the other people that you're invading.
This guy don't care. All right. This is about his big mouth. In his big mouth world, it's about, conquest and victory. And he's talking like they won this war. We didn't win the war. All we did was expend a shitload of ordnance. Anybody can, anybody can expend a shitload of ordnance, but you actually have to have won something, met some objective. Zero American objectives were met. And we're going to talk about that in the diplomatic section because Donald Trump is now saying that the 10-point plan and the 15-point plan that he was talking about wasn't anything like what the Iranians are talking about, but it wasn't written down, so he can't tell you. It's crazy. All right. Next, within hours of the close of the signing of the peace agreement, for
Yep.
some bizarre, strange reason, the United Arab Emirates, without any prompting by anybody, threw an airstrike at Iran's Lavon Island and Siri Island production terminals. I will show you Lavon Island. Yeah, here it is. Lavon and Siri. I got a deep ass history with those two islands. I battled the Iranians off of there. I sank a ship off of Siri and blew up the oil platforms. This is Lavon Island. It's west of Quiche Island, which is here. I'll show you on the pointer to give you a full perspective. This is Qishem Island, Greater Tomb, Lesser Tomb, Abu Musa, Siri Island, Farur Island, Quiche Island, Lavon Island. Mirage 2000 strike aircraft from the United Arab Emirates Air Force flew from the UAE to Lavon Island and Siri Island oil refineries and bombed them. The Iranians said that no one was killed, very little damage, which is what I would have expected from the United Arab Emirates because they are not very proficient at the use of these aircraft. They have them, they spend a lot of money on them, but you got to actually do it in real operations. So, they flew here, bombed the oil platform, bombed the oil terminal, and left. And here's another one of my favorite islands. This is a tiny little island, Hendarabi Island. There. So interesting. But the UAE did this after the ceasefire was announced, as if they had to get their licks in, right? Last chance. So, in response, within hours of the ceasefire ending and the UAE flying airstrikes against their oil refineries, Iran launched ballistic missiles at the UAE oil refinery in Fujairah, which is their offloading and bunkering facility that has fuel for hundreds of ships. Usually when you see Fujairah village is nothing, okay? These areas, Dibba and out here, this area, if I were to zoom in, let me see. You can't see it well here because this is one moment's time and they didn't image the main ocean. There's usually 200 or 300 ships off of here, sitting there waiting to pick up oil. So for them to blow up the oil tanks here in Fujairah, well, they're sending a little message. Here's the oil port right there. And that message is, you attacked our place, we're attacking your place. Apparently you didn't get the memo on the ceasefire. And apparently they didn't, because that's why they attacked that facility. This is the deep water. I think this right here is the deep water harbor for the super tankers. There's multiple places up there. Very nice place. Oh, by the way, these mountains right here, when I was there, I was going camping and I was told, do not go camping up there because there was an escaped lion. And it was true. There was an escaped lion
Because we have
because
lions as pets.
Emiratis bought lions as pets and they get them smuggled in and they keep them in their front yard next to the camels. And then one morning you wake up and the camel is eaten and you have to get rid of the lion. So someone, I'm not joking, dumped a lion in the mountains here just north of Fujairah. And this lion, full scale effing lion, went around eating goats, camels, anything that was up there. And they actually had to hire a team of South African hunters to find the lion.
Oh,
I'm not joking. This is not a joke. I will show you the actual story of the lions of Fujairah, right? Because actually, I think there was more than one lion.
oh,
And they,
there's many lions that have escaped. Tigers, cheetahs, you name it. They have bought them illegally, and they have escaped. Bears, yes, yes.
okay, wait. I know we got to get into the serious stuff, but here's some examples. In 2016, a lioness was captured roaming free in the Al Barsha area of Dubai. That's a good residential neighborhood. Al Barsha. There have been in 2008, there was a sighting in 2008 was considered by local liars to be large. Stray dogs. That's not true. They brought in a hunter. The hunter found the lion. The hunter killed the lion. And it was a very big story back then. So people do buy pets and keep them there. As a matter of fact, there's a photo here from just a few months ago of an actual lion that someone had. Here you go. This is not, I'm going to show you this right now. This is not AI.
And this is quite a rare lion, actually, that
That's
you see.
look at that. This is not a that shit ain't AI. This is real. This is from like the pre-AI era. Look,
This
he's
is
got
an
a female. Look,
albino.
he's got a female tiger in there. He's got a goddamn Russian bear. That's legit.
Cheetah.
That's a cheetah. All right, that's a tiger. You know, this is some Andrew Tate man hates women thing going on there. I don't know, but okay, that's part of their luxury lifestyle. Okay, enough for one morning. Let's move on. But the
On
UAE
a
had enough
serious,
money to attack
sorry.
Iran and to attack the oil refineries at Syria and Levant. Then they ended. The final strikes that Iran launched. I'm sorry, is this about the airstrike?
Yeah, it's about the UAE.
Okay, go
It,
ahead.
it's not designed for war. The UAE was never designed to take hits and send back hits to a different country. So I'm kind of, on one hand, I think they have been talking big game to their people about, we are going to respond to the Iranians. We have reserved our right for military response, and we will show them what's up. And they've sent their planes and they hit them. But the reality is, everyone in there in the UAE, almost 8 out of 10 are from, not even from the UAE, from either expats or from the United States or imported workers, and all of them are it's not it's an you know this very well.
Whoa.
It's very exchange relationship. I give you something, you give me something. It's not natural community that has formed. It's based on transaction.
Mm,
So if I don't feel safe in the UAE, if I don't have that my transactions that are supposed to come in from shipping and go out, then my relationship with you is kind of over. So if my relationship with you is kind of over, then the UAE as a whole, as an economy, kind of falls down.
mm.
So this is a little bit deeper. I wrote an article about it. I really think that you guys should read it. But sorry, I didn't mean to take too much of your time.
That's okay. Okay. The final strikes after the ceasefire ended, a whole series of pre-programmed strikes were launched by Iran because the word did not officially get down to the 31 Mosaic commanders who have independent operational commands that allow them to go out and carry out attacks until they get word from the Ayatollah Mujtaba al-Khamenei himself. The final strikes were launched at Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Israel. Those attacks happened. Within 12 hours, all attacks ceased. Today, as of today, there have been launched from Iran 0 attacks. There have been U.S. attacks, 0 attacks. Israel, in the last few hours after the agreement, did carry out attacks in Western Iran. But we apparently have gotten that part of this story under control. There have been 0 attacks going out to those countries in this period of time, which is a good thing. Good thing. So, most importantly, let's look at the maritime aspect of this story. The UK Maritime Trade Office, which is the most reliable, and it's one the insurance companies use as a yardstick, has reported 0 attacks on any ships in the entire region. That's a good thing. Which is not good is that they have still labeled the level for insurance as critical. That is their highest level. That means do not insure, do not allow to move. Right now, in terms of people who believe that the Strait of Hormuz is over, including, for some strange reason, J.D. Vance, who has all the most advanced intelligence in U.S. history available to him, flat out lied yesterday and said the Strait of Hormuz is completely open, ships are flowing through. How many ships flowed through yesterday, Wajeeh? How many do you think?
Like 10.
0. 0, because the Iranians shut down traffic yesterday because of the ceasefire agreement with Israel is not holding up. So the
You can ask me
IRGC,
how many ships are stuck in the Strait of Hormuz.
how many ships are stuck in the Strait of Hormuz?
More than 800.
800 ships. That's on both sides, most likely. Okay, the IRGC has issued an all stop for the Strait of Hormuz. You are right. Some ships did move on the first day after the ceasefire, but we showed that video yesterday of them transiting. They were multi-pass owners. They had already received their clearance to go through the Kishem Lavan Hormuz Island toll booth. They got there, inspected, khalas, shukran, bye-bye, and that's how they were allowed out. In interesting news, you guys might remember I made up a joke photograph of a multipass, right? Let me let me bring this. Let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. Uh, because the funny thing about life in Trump world is that you can make a joke and then it will come true within a period of time, right? So, um, we were talking
Ye-
about the multipass, and
yes.
it's right up there with Jacob Carlsbow's Special Spy beer and coffee. Um, and let me find this because I had two different. Here it is. Here's the IRGC multipass that we are issuing here at Black Man Spy. Right, we're taking commissions on these, by the way. So if you have a super tanker, just call us and we'll take your money and we'll get you this multipass, and you could just show this to the IRGC when it's time for your ship to go through. What I like about this multipass version is we put Mujtaba al-Khamenei. He has to give full approval for you to go. And no mines, no missiles, no drones. And it takes
The
Visa, MasterCard, American Express. And now, before I conclude this, I joke what I started as a joke has turned into reality.
yeah.
Ready for this? The IRGC announced that they will accept Trump coin. You think
That's just
I
trolling
couldn't
at this
make
point.
I
It's just
couldn't
trolling.
make this up, but it's true. There are 3 types of Bitcoin that they are accepting. They're accepting 3 types of Bitcoin. One of them is that, what is it? That true coin or whatever it is, real coin, whatever, that's backed by money, and Trump's backed Trump coin. Now, here's the kicker. They're not doing this to troll Trump, I don't think. I think they're using it as a legitimate vehicle to say, you're paying us.
Hmm.
You're paying
That's
us
right.
money. So
That's right.
Trump coin.
Mm.
I will get you the actual quote from the IRGC. And you know, those guys are, first off, when they're not sitting around laughing at up new Lego videos, they are sitting around laughing up how they control Donald Trump. And they're not just trolling Donald Trump. They know if they enrich him, he will not attack Iran. It's as simple as that. So they are actually using Trump coin as a system. I just want to show this to you. For those of you who go, "Oh my God, that multipass is from the movie The Fifth Element." Here is the actual multipass from the movie The Fifth Element with Lilu Dallas, who says multipass. I am going to get one of those easy buttons that you can put a recording on. I swear to God. And every time I say IRGC multipass, I'm going to hit that button and you're going to get IRGC multipass authorization to get your vessel through the Strait of Hormuz. Multipass.
Did
So,
you see the RGC map for the exact route that ships are supposed to take
yes, that's
to?
the same. It's the same route they've been using, the Kashem Levant toll booth.
Yeah,
And they're
they
said,
dropped them. Well, go ahead.
go ahead. Are you going to talk about mines?
No, they did not. I was not going to talk about mine, but go ahead. Yes.
The IRGC dropped hints that maybe you should not enter the traffic separation scheme because we will not be responsible for what happens to your vessel. And everybody
They did
goes,
say that.
oh, it's mined. And the IRGC's like, maybe. So, oh, uh, this this story could not be funnier. And people, you wonder why we're laughing in our intelligence brief, because we have to laugh, okay? This is one
It's
of
just
the
stupid.
yeah. So, let me see. So here are the names of the actual Bitcoins that the IRGC is accepting now, and one of them is their version of Trump coin. Let me see. That's funny. There's a lot of people grokking that to see if that's true. It's saying yes. Okay. Iran is charging $2 million per ship. Oh, that's another thing. They have changed their charge scheme from a solid blank $2 million because there are smaller liquid carriers that cannot afford that, bootleggers, things like that. There are bootleggers. There are people. I have personally been offered, personally, hundreds of barrels of oil that they had stolen from somewhere or got runoff from the oil field. And people have taken me to their garages filled with checkable, real barrels of oil. And that oil is valuable. And there are brokers that will bring trucks over and they will fill these scrub tankers with this oil. And over 10 years that I lived in the UAE, 2 or 3 times, 2 guys actually showed me their barrels. And 3 times the third time I was offered oil from Iraq. And what I helped them get it out as being the legitimate American face of the thing. And I was like, no way. I could have made a few $100,000, but just ain't worth the effort, right? Next, Iran is charging $2 million per ship. However, they have, for these smaller vessels, instituted a new scheme. Once the ceasefire is in operation, they will be charging $1 for each barrel of oil you bring out, which is a discount because VLCCs, very large crude carriers, generally bring somewhere around 1 million barrels of oil at a time. So between 1 million and 2 million is what you're going to pay, right? This is their Bitcoin allowance, $72,000 per Bitcoin. Each ship will pay 27.7 Bitcoins per transit. Pre-crisis, it was 130 ships daily, which means 3,611 Bitcoins if you're paying by Bitcoin, or once a year, it would be 1.3 million Bitcoins a year. Multiply that by 72,000, and you'll be here in your $160 billion. So there's that.
They're
Uh,
making bank. They're not only going to build their country back, they're going to build their military even stronger.
They're going to be buying
And
Chinese stuff. But I had a prediction about that. The future of the IRGC. Like I said yesterday, they won't be building air bases again. They're going to turn that into civilian housing. Everything's going underground. Everything's
that's tough.
going underground. Let's see. IRGC pay by Bitcoin. Yes. A cryptocurrency and Chinese yuan toll in the Strait of Hormuz. Ships will pay $1 per barrel administered by the IRGC. Stablecoin. That's one of the Trump coins. Stablecoin will take precedence over Bitcoin if you're paying by stablecoin, which is backed up by real money from the US government. It's just
Well,
absolutely the stupidest thing I have ever, ever, ever heard. Okay, well, that's it for the significant activities. Wajeeh, you got anything?
I got that the GCC is definitely thinking about how to prepare to defend themselves because they are looking into this as the United States is seriously considering how to pull out and leave them hanging. So they're really considering what they want to do. And one of the things was maybe we make peace with the Iranians, but that's kind of very, very touchy at the moment. Everyone is really pissed off at the other, and this is just not going to happen. The other thing is that they are already making allies, stronger connections with other European nations. So the UK was in Saudi Arabia and UAE yesterday. The Italian Prime Minister was there last week. Everyone is going there to make some sort of security deal with the GCC. And guess who's being left out? The United States. So I think those type of things, I said it in the beginning, small incremental changes are the things that will end the Saudi American security alliance. And
Mhm.
it is happening, and you are not even noticing it because it's happening incrementally.
Right. Well, I think there are going to be a lot of bilateral, trilateral, multilateral agreements between a lot of people. I mean, France has a agreement with United Arab Emirates, and that's why when they hit the port in Abu Dhabi, French fighter jets came right over from France and started flying combat air patrols and defending their airspace from drones. That is a defense agreement between France and the UAE, right? And it was also part of that agreement so that the Paris Louvre Museum of Abu Dhabi, full disclosure, which my late wife helped design that island, um, that place holds an enormous amount of the material that was in store in the Paris Louvre Museum is now in Abu Dhabi. So you don't want cruise missiles or ballistic missiles dropping smack down and destroying a major part of French culture because you didn't defend them. So French fighter jets have been flying patrols over the UAE for some time. And you're going to start seeing bilateral agreements. Also, don't forget, right now, this is the time when countries want to do defense sales, right?
Yeah.
And the Saudis are looking to buy. And I think that Americans are going to be the Americans, other than Patriot interceptors, are going to be cut out of these deals. The South Koreans brought in those Koreans version of Patriot in a matter of weeks. They had a 97% kill rate. Everyone's going to be buying those South Korean interceptors. Even Ukraine wants them to
Yeah.
cut ties with the United States, you know? So that's very
And
interesting.
Trump was actually very pissed off about that. He sent Marco Rubio to Saudi Arabia to tell Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman he was disappointed that he met with the Ukrainian uh, uh, Zelensky and made a military contract to buy drones. And Saudi Crown Prince basically said, we had a contract with you to protect us, and you didn't.
Yeah.
We had to look somewhere else.
Yep. Okay. Another thing. Yesterday, Iran announced that until there is an actual formal ceasefire, they will not allow more than 15 ships per day to go through the SOH. So that doesn't relieve any of the economic issues there. That means that you have to negotiate. And of course, you must have a multi-pass to get out that toll booth. So right now, as you see today, the SOH is closed. Closed. Zero vessels are being allowed through, and only those vessels that are being IRGC approved will be allowed through in the future. So we've given absolute control of the SOH to the Iranians. Now, if this deal, which is starts tomorrow, by the way, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio are in Islamabad, Pakistan, or flying to Islamabad, Pakistan today to start these supposed talks with the Iranians. And we will see. This is where the formal agreement goes in. And right now, Donald Trump has played this game where he says none of the things that people are reporting, the 10-point document and the 15-point document, those aren't the documents that were agreed to. But everybody else, Pakistan, Iran, Turkey, Egypt, they're all like, yeah, that's the document. And you even saw Trump got angry at CNN and claimed CNN is fake news, those 10 points. And CNN goes, those 10 points come from the Iranians and you tweeted it. All right. So what more can you say? Wajeeh, I say we go to questions.
Let's do it. Let's do it. There's a
Let's
lot of
have
questions.
let's have an on-time day today and get some of these questions asked. I know a lot of them. If they're oddball questions like about the hostage, about the pilot rescue and things like that, we have to focus on the things that we really are reporting on today. Sean says, is this still a ceasefire or just the Israeli ceasefire, which means not at all? Right now, people are making their protests today about Israel. The prime minister of Pakistan, who negotiated this deal, in which Netanyahu agreed, said no. Israel, the United States agreed to a ceasefire in Lebanon as well between Israel and Hamas, Hezbollah. So it says it's a ceasefire.
But then JD Vance, Trump, and Netanyahu comes out yesterday and goes, well, they did not agree on the Hezbollah. Uh, they did not.
Yeah. Diane K did ask a question about the pilot rescue of the pilot. I want to answer this because this is important. So, rumor has it the rescue of our down pilots is a hoax. Can you help us out with the truth? My buddy Dean Blundell, he's jumping onto that bandwagon. It is not a hoax. We actually rescued those pilots. The aircraft weren't there to go do a secret mission into Iran. They just decided to use a lot of aircraft instead of the small number of aircraft we usually use, and they got stuck and we had to blow up the airplanes because they didn't do a survey of the ground properly. When we did this a few days ago, didn't we say I thought they hit goats on the way in?
Yeah, you
I
did.
bet you I'll bet you at least one of them was a goat. There's just no way. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. But it happens. It happens. You come landing on some remote strip and you scare all the goats out of the trees and they go running in front of you and boom, they hit one. I know a UN aircraft that got totaled in Angola because it scared all the goats and they stampeded the runway. It happens, but this was not a secret mission. It's not fake. It was just too much. They put on too much to go get that second guy out so it would look cool with dudes with guns like what's his name? Pete Hegseth, Whiskey Pete once. Malcolm, I was thinking most Americans don't have a clue about what Iran looks like, says Sarah too. Please show photos of the amazing architecture and educate us on the beautiful poetry of Rumi. Rumi was Lebanese, wasn't he? Was he Persian? Well, Adam, I think Rumi was an Arab, if I'm not mistaken. So let me check that out right now. Everybody hit your computer. Rumi's birthplace. He could have been Persian. Wallah, Rumi was Afghan. He was Bach. But he did
Yeah, I never.
everything. Oh, you got me. He's Khorasan. Khorasani. That is salty Al Qaeda talk for Afghanistan. He was from the town of Balkh in Afghanistan, born in the year of 1207. I have corrected myself. I've learned something. Thank you, Sarah, too. Persian-speaking family referred to as a Balkhi or Rumi from the Anatolia Byzantine-ruled section of that area. He traveled along the Middle East, settling in Turkey, where he wrote his most renowned poetry. I stand very corrected. He is from Afghanistan. So, but some of the things I will show you is some of the incredible Islamic architecture in Iran that I've had to learn. Okay, let me give you some of this. Al, the first photo I'm going to show you is a building that was damaged by US airstrikes in Tehran. This room, there's photos of it. It's part of a mosque attached to a palace in Tehran that was damaged by US airstrikes. Okay, voila. But
And then there's the palace made out of
that is
glass.
incredible. That is sun coming through stained glass that you're looking at.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But they have many, many, many incredible mosques. This is the Blue Mosque of it's Isfahan, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, just crazy, beautiful architecture inside and out. This is a mihrab. No, that's on the outside. The but just amazing places that you'll see if Iran was open to us, right? You're not going to be seeing any tours by, Carson Wagonlit or Viking River cruises going to Iran. But the kind of people that would go on those tours would be those well-heeled old people, right? Who see this. Look at this place. Yikes. So, stuff that you wanna see. I mean, thousands of years of architecture there. So, thank you for asking that question because you have to understand it's not all, um, dusty roads and old souks. You know, it's a beautiful cultural history, especially a culture you might want to learn some things about. Dan Demendenberg, our correspondent from Israel, says, how long until Netanyahu announces once again that Iran is 10 days away from nuclear weapons? As soon as those backhoes and excavators start going up there to Isfahan, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're up there right now. The funeral held for Al Jazeera, Wajeeh killed in an Israeli strike in Gaza, more than 250. That's a comment, more than that. 4 Israelis have been arrested for spying for Iran. How deeply do you think Iran has penetrated into Israel? I understand it that I think 3 out of 4 of those cases, they were recruited online for cash for cash.
Mm.
And um, there's always somebody out there that is willing to do something for cash. There always is. And if you put enough money on the table and you say, "Hey, listen, nobody will know how you got this, y'all," or you fake that you're a foreign reporter and you want videos and photos, you can get it. You can get that stuff. Oman has said that it will not accept any payments from Iran for SOH tariffs. How might this impact a peace treaty? That's from Alan Stewart. Mo money for us.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was about to say.
I can hear the IRGC now.
You're like, oh, thank you. That you don't want it? Oh, okay. I
We're ch-
appreciate it. We
we're
were just being
charging, baby. We're willing to give you half. We're willing to give you half. All right,
yeah.
more money. I got it. Pay out. And
Yeah.
there's some government ministers in Oman that are going to be going to the Iranians like, "Hey, I've been authorized to take that $90 billion off of you." No,
Nah.
I remember I had an incident in Baghdad where I had $1 million transaction in cats. And I had 10 people go to the person I was dealing with and say, "Malcolm said that I was the real negotiator and you're to give me a 10% cut." And he called me and goes, "Do you know this guy?" I was like, "No." So everyone heard about the deal. This is just part of the way that the game is played over there. The Omanis won't take that on the table, but I'll bet you suddenly that their sovereign fund suddenly grows by $50 billion. Okay, let's look at the next question. Hugh Culleton says if the U.S. pulls out of the ceasefire, can Israel meet their commitments? No. This
No.
this is a joint operation.
The
Netanyahu and
on,
Trump have made this clear.
the only reason Israel did this attack is because they did it with the United States.
Yep. Pam says, can any ship enter the Strait of Hormuz and only pay to leave? I think they're going to do a two-way. I think they're going to probably register you when you come in and inspect you because they don't want anything that's going to U.S. military thus far. Then when you leave, it's Hotel California. You can check in anytime you like, but you may never leave until you pay us some Trump coin. So, stablecoin, Trump coin, and other Bitcoin or Chinese cash, right? Uncle Mark says, what is the AIS situation for vessels in the area? AIS is the Automated Information System. That is where when we videos with the little triangular tracks of is the ship reporting out to the shipping world where it's located. Those spoofs going on, right? Everyone wants everyone to know where that money's going, right? Larak Island, baby. Nancy Byman says, does the USA still use depleted uranium munitions? Yes, they do. The A-10 Warthog uses bullets on its 30-millimeter Gatling gun that are depleted uranium. Alan D. Brewer says, what will Iran be doing during the ceasefire to resuscitate its military? Do we know if Russia is continuing to supply Iran with weapons and intelligence? We are assuming Russia is going to take this opportunity to make some money and will be providing them with weapons. I think intelligence is coming for free.
Yeah.
I suspect that Iran is just going to be inventorying itself. They're going to inventory. Somebody wants a multi-pass coffee cup. I should print real multi-passes that can go into your wallet, right? That'll be there like your AAA card right? Like your AAA card, right? Multipass. And you can whip that out. Oh, I should make those. We can have your pictures put on them.
Could be part of your merch.
My merch. I don't have any merch. All right. Okay. Dan says, just an update. Schools and workplaces in Israel are back to normal, except in the north. Gatherings of up to 5,000 are now allowed. Wow, I guess Iran oh yeah, that was on the list today. 0 attacks on Israel. 0 ballistic missiles launched today by Iran. 0. Let's keep this up. Okay, that is the last question. So Wajeeh, any last comments before we reconvene tomorrow? I will be in New York City.
I wish you safe travels. Thank you, everyone, for your support. If you enjoy what we are giving you in information and intelligence, I hope you consider becoming a paid subscriber from Malcolm or myself. We do this full time, so you don't have to do it full time. Um, Relax, let us do the hard work, and just read the deep dives and watch this podcast.
Yep. One last question. EG says, are the Iranian Lego videos banned in America now? Because apparently new laws were passed concerning sharing these videos. No,
Yeah.
no, no. I was watching them bad boys this morning, and I saw another intelligence analyst who does psychological operations come out and go, these are world class. These are the best propaganda videos ever, ever done. And, I mean, yeah, I'm taking notes. Just let me put that out. Uh Dan also says my nephew was drafted into the IDS Armor Division 3 weeks ago. To keep him out of Lebanon, should I break one of his limbs? No,
No
no, you
comments.
can't break his limbs. But hey, bad falafel happens, right? Bad falafel, rancid oil. It's been deep fried in rancid oil. He'll never know the difference. So he'll be out of commission for weeks. Okay, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you are watching a recording of the live broadcast that is put out every morning at 9 a.m. on Substack. That's at malcolmnance.substack.com. Same for Wajeeh Lion, who is on Substack. Follow us on YouTube. Make a comment if you enjoyed the programming. What do they say? Like, subscribe, share
Yeah.
that material. And again, it's $7 a month to get us to give you intelligence, not just every morning when really crazy things happen. We do special programs to explain it right away from an intelligence professional's perspective. Also, follow us. If you haven't hit that rondelle up top, hit it and follow Wajeeh, follow myself, and come to this briefing every morning and tell your friends. Tell other Substack podcasts, hey, y'all should watch Malcolm and Wajeeh and, get the 411 on what's really going on out there. There are a lot of people out there with a lot of podcasts. So we think that we're giving you a high quality product here. And you get plenty of laughs and see funny hats. I'm breaking into the skiff today. I am going to be getting some of my unconventional hats out there. I got an Iraqi one that will just blow you away. You won't even believe it. You'll surrender when I show you that hat. Okay. So, guys, tomorrow I'm going to speak at the National Action Network. That's Reverend Al Sharpton's conference tomorrow on a panel on national security. So, I will be in New York City tomorrow through Saturday. So, if you're in New York City, you want to have a coffee, come up to the conference, just register, come watch the show, say hi. We'll have a whole panel of experts who will be in there. Also, we're relating this to the African American experience in the United
You
States.
should make a post about
So it's
that to Malcolm.
I should, and and I also may make a special post about we have a highest level of subscriber called Circle of Spies, and if any of you are in that category, that's the one that's like 800 a year. We could be going to lunch. So I may just say, hey, anybody in this category that wants to go to lunch with me, and if you're in Manhattan or the North Jersey area, come on over. We'll all go over to San Suplice or some other really fancy place and have and talk smack and have our own show amongst us with drinks. You never know who else I can get out there. I have been planning to do that for some time. I'm going to do that here eventually. Wajeeh, thanks for coming. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for having me. See you tomorrow.
All right. Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.